Hey, buddy. I should probably stay closer to the thing. So I watched your video last night, but I was a little fucked up. I tried to record a response video, and after about 6 minutes of me being fairly certain that I was completely uh, rambling and not making sense at all, decided just to scrap it and try again today when I was sober. Um, I've been my back and legs and hips and everything are just killing me from going from pretty much sitting on my ass for the last 3 years to working full time again in a coffee shop. So standing on my feet on concrete floors. So I took some medication and was fucking looped out of my head. Um, I have notes though. So, and the notes were taken while I was high. So we'll see we'll see if I can figure out what the fuck I wanted to talk about. I've got money for booze with a smiley face. So clearly you mentioned that. Oh, I think it was me working all the time so I had money for booze. Yeah. I have money for booze. I actually haven't been drinking the last couple of weeks. I just, more than anything, I haven't really had time. And I don't know. I just haven't. I have Flight of the Concords written down. Yes. Oh, you mentioned them and that I didn't like them. No, I do like them. I've watched some of their episodes. Um, I just didn't get super into them. I could never really figure out when they were on. But I do really like Jermaine, and really, truly, the only part of Dinner for Schmucks that was even tolerable was the parts that Jermaine was in. I'm super stoked for you to start your embroidery project again. With the pictures, I absolutely want a what the what one. But if you can get the pictures to work out, um, turning the pictures into embroidery projects, I would love a cure one, preferably Robert Smith from my beach party t-shirt, and I can get you a good picture of it. We'll have to find it online because my t-shirt is beyond disrepair and there's no decent picture. I mean, he's basically not even on the t-shirt anymore. But I would love one of that image of him with the neon hair and everything from my beach party t-shirt, since that's my absolute favorite. Um, when I was watching 30 Rock the other night, I caught up on last week's episode and this week's episode, night before last. Uh, when Queen Latifah said, "There's more white people than at a Wilco concert," I about choked to death. It was hysterical. Um, I have been reading a lot. I think you're right. I think that's definitely pulled me away from knitting a little bit. I did knit tonight. I knit a little baby hat for my friend Andrea's daughter, Adeline. She's super adorable and she's super smart, and she needs a hat. And Andrea gave me yarn to use, but it's not really good yarn. I don't really like it, so I used some hand dyed bulky weight from um, Amy from uh, her yarn company's Lusty Yarns, but Amy, short red hair Amy. Um, it's really nice and soft and it's really cute. It's a little ear flap hat. It literally knit it in like 2 hours. Um, I think that moving within the next 10 years is a completely achievable goal. You're 30 today. Happy birthday. It's not quite midnight here yet, but we're like 10 minutes away from it being midnight. So, um, probably by the time I'm finished with this video, it will officially be your birthday in Alaska. But I'm sure you won't see this until tomorrow. So, happy birthday. I think by the time you're 40, we can figure out how to get you the fuck out of Vegas. And seriously, like, if you called me tomorrow and said I'm moving to Portland, I would be on the next plane. So I just don't want to go back to Vegas. If you get Oprah rich, However, in the meantime, I don't want a house 2 streets away from you. I want to own adjacent farmhouses on our pygmy cashmere goat farm. That's what I want. So when you get Oprah rich, we need to figure out how to do that. Preferably somewhere in rural Oregon, maybe Beaverton. I'm a big fan of Beaverton. Um, Fingers tangled in hair. That's what I wrote down. I seem to remember you mentioning that you don't like that you don't like fingers tangled in long hair, that you like the short hair on the back of the head and you like to rub the short hair on the back of the head. That's fantastic for you. Means that we will probably never compete for a man, which we wouldn't do anyways because that's ridiculous. But I like the fingers tangled in the hair thing. I like 2 handfuls of hair. I'm a big fan of that. Um, 2 good things about myself, dude. I'm having a really bad day for saying nice things about myself. I just wrote a horrible blog post about how I was fat and bitchy. Um, those are not good things about myself. Um, I make excellent coffee. I'm an excellent barista. Um, I'm knowledgeable, I'm friendly, and like logistically, like skill wise, I make a damn fine latte. Um, that's thing one. Thing two, um, I don't know. I don't know. We'll loop back around to that. I hope you told Miles hi. I had intended to record this last night before you left today, so I was hoping that you would see it before you left this morning. I was really trying to get it done this morning. But tell Miles I said hi, and I'm glad he went with you. My phone keeps blowing up. My friend Oren keeps text messaging me. We were talking about Halloween costumes, but I can't read and talk at the same time, so I'll read his text message in a minute. The people I don't want to run into cafe. The person I didn't want to run into was a dude who was treating me like I was his motherfucking girlfriend when I'm not his motherfucking girlfriend. And he didn't actually see me. And I just did that whole like willing myself invisible thing. And it seems to work. That's the second time now that I've managed to will myself invisible in that particular cafe, and the person that I was trying not to be seen by has not seen me. Um, Family update. I think you asked about how my family was doing. Everybody's okay. Okay, seriously? Um, that's random. Um, Dad is doing well. Cheryl's doing okay. She's seeing a physical therapist and a speech therapist. The last stroke really affected her speech. She's having a really hard time talking, and it affected the left side of her body as well. But she seems to be coming along okay. I can understand her pretty well. Dad's having a hard time, but I can understand her pretty well, and Christina, my sister, can understand her pretty well. So, um, the boys are doing good. Johnny turned 19 today. Jimmy turned 21 last month. Jimmy's coming home for Thanksgiving. I'm super stoked. I think sisters and I are going to take him out and get him drunk. But I'm glad that he's coming home for Thanksgiving. I'm really looking forward to Thanksgiving, actually. I'm bummed that Johnny's not planning on coming home. He couldn't afford to come home. So that's going to kind of suck that everybody's going to be here but Johnny. But, but in another couple years, they'll be graduated and hopefully they'll come home and everybody will be here. If I'm not living on a farmhouse in rural Oregon. Podcasts. You might like Jordan Jesse Go. Ezra and Sarah Joe have been listening to it, and they told me about it. I started listening to one of the episodes. It's pretty funny, but I just haven't had a chance for podcasts lately. I did start listening to Pop Culture Happy Hour, but I haven't had a chance to listen to a full episode either. Books to listen to on audio. Again, all of this is late now because you're done with your trip, but as we know, I really like Neil Gaiman, and those are my favorite books to listen to on audiobook. I wrote down Downtown Owl. I don't know why. I have no recollection of what that was about. So I know that's a Chuck Klosterman book. So I seem to vaguely remember you talking about Chuck Klosterman, but I don't know why I wrote down Downtown Al. I have no idea why. So yes, it was a good book. Um, Rob Sheffield, Talking to Girls slash Love is a Mixtape. I have read Love is a Mixtape, or I read most of Love is a Mixtape. It was really depressing, and so I stopped. Because I think it was one of the books that I was reading when former boyfriend and I broke up. So I was like, didn't want to read that anymore. Let me know how Talking to Girls is. I assume that there's more of a title. Talking to Girls about Duran Duran? I don't know. Tell me how it is. Okay, I've only got a couple more minutes, so I'm going to give you the super quick version of Glee. Kurt, the gay kid, his dad has a stroke in the beginning of last week's episode. At the same time, the quarterback kid, I can't remember his name for some reason, he makes a grilled cheese in like a George Foreman grill, and it's grilled cheeses. He sees the face of Jesus on it, so he starts praying to grilled cheeses. Um, and so he finds God. Quinn, I think his name. He finds God, and at the same time, Kurt announces to everybody, because everybody's like, "Oh, we'll pray for you," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't believe in God." And he made this really poignant speech about like, why would God make me gay, and then take away my mother, and then take away my father, and it was like heart wrenching. Um, so the whole episode is basically like the entire uh, Glee Club trying to convince Kurt that there's a higher power. Mercedes, the big black girl, takes him to her church, and Quinn is still praying to grilled cheeses, and he's praying for really stupid shit like to win a football game and to touch Rachel's boobs and things like that. And all, they all keep coming true, and so he's convinced that he's got a direct line to God because of grilled cheeses. Um, and then, uh, but essentially, the long and short of it is Kurt, even at the end, even after everybody's valiant attempts to make him believe in God, still maintains that he's an atheist. He just doesn't believe. He's trying everything he can to get his dad to come out. His dad's in a coma. Had a stroke and is in a coma. And he's doing like acupuncture and stuff. But and he at least understands. He's like, he changes his mind about, he was getting like really aggressive about people praying for him, and then he changed his mind and was like, okay, you can pray for me, but I don't believe in it. But the saddest part was he saying, I want to hold your hand. Saddest version of I want to hold your hand ever. 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 It was heart-wrenching. It was like openly weeping on the couch, like just could not even believe it. It was horrible. But it was a really good episode. I agree that when NPH was on Glee, his role was not very well written. That was the Glee that was the week that former boyfriend and I broke up, and so I was a basket case, so I'd like to rewatch that episode. Have not finished the Sedaris book yet. I'm so close to the end. I'm probably 4 or 5 stories from the end. I just haven't had a chance to read for the last 2 days because I worked all weekend, all day. So that's all my notes, and I'm at about 14 minutes. So that's good. That was well timed. I hope you had a great trip. I want to hear all about Ira Glass and how he's the bee's knees. And I'm super jealous that you got to go. And I hope you had a great time. Um, and I guess I'll save the list of things I'm looking for in a potential mate for next time. But I have it. And I will even show it to you so you know that I have it. There's words on there. The guy in a perfect world. And it's kind of a ridiculous list. It involves sweater vests. Just saying. So yeah. Heart you. Happy birthday. I love you so fucking much. It's ridiculous. Love you. Look at this face. This is me loving you. Have a good day. I will talk to you soon.